Good afternoon, world. Good afternoon, teachers, educators around the world. Welcome to the international free webinar of our Institution of Global Professionals. Thank you for joining us to this wonderful day. It is another day of learning. My lovely audience, today I am your host again. This is Teacher Nori from the Philippines. I am proud to be associated with IJP as a global member, and I am honored and delighted to welcome you all to our Institution of Global Professional free webinar. Okay, so for today, and thank you for joining us today on this marvelous uh, day that we are. And it is humble request and pleasure for you all to stay with us till the end. For I am sure you will have many takeaways and payoff from this webinar. And don't forget to tag, share, and mention your friend in the comment box. So let's watch together and learn together. We believe that the power is gained by sharing knowledge, not hurting it. Once again, this is your host, Teacher Nordi, a volunteer host and a member of IGP from the Philippines. So every day we know that we have newcomers, new participants join us. So I have honor to you to give a little concept. What is IGP? Institute of Global Professionals. It is a leading online skills development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. We are entrusted with international recognition in educational institution that provides social work, organize webinars, trainings, offline online courses, train speakers and coaches from all over the world. Our mission is to empower people and enhance skills and potentials. We have already completed 608 webinars, and I believe you guys seen many webinars, learnings, and gained many learners in our previous webinars. And it is successfully indeed. And we believe that we are all getting benefited in our personal as well as our professional life. And we wish that you all remain with us in this long journey. Let me remind you again, don't forget to share, tag, comment, and mention your friend in the comment box because your attachment encourages us to do better and best service to our lovely audience and lovely educators, teachers around the world. So today we are presenting the webinar 609 entitled Competency-Based Education, Teaching and Learning Methodology with our 609 speakers, Mr. Sonil Bakarat from India. So let's start our program with RGB mantra. What is our RGB mantra? Feed your skill. Okay, so Mr. Sonil Bakiri, I'm gonna let you have his background in our today's speaker. Okay, so Mr. Sonil Bakiri is a Master of Science, Master of Art, Bachelor of Education, MSc, PhD, EMA, a CBSE resource person and master trainer, a British Council Cambridge CBSE, CBE master trainer, a dedicated and innovative teaching faculty, an international award at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in 2007. Okay, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Sonal Bakri from India. Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Hello, very good afternoon to you all. First and foremost, I would like to thank IGP for giving me this opportunity to present myself with the topic Competency-Based Education, Teaching
And
Learning Methodology.
okay, and we are so happy to have you here, sir. Okay, I am not wasting my time. I will give you the floor. Have the floor, sir. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you once again. Very good afternoon from India, and very good morning, good evening to all those who are here from various parts of the world for this session. Today, being here in this noble profession of teaching learning, we people are moving towards the 21st century, and this 21st century is the most compatible and competent enough century for all of us. So when we are marching towards this, there is a lots of change that is taking place in the education field, and therefore you will find that most of these changes are taking place from a rote learning method to the competency-based education, which is a need of today's hour. And therefore, we are going to discuss this point today in a very brief way, but in a very confident and competent part of it. So let's move towards it. I am Mr. Sunil Bakre. I welcome you all in this session, and I thank IGP for giving me this opportunity to speak before you all in this session. So let's begin. Learning outcomes of today's session. So when we are conducting this today's session, we should always have in today's teaching learning, we should always have the outcomes. So what are the outcomes of today's training? That you will know about what is the definition of competency-based education. Similarly, what are competencies in education? We will be able to see what is the traditional method and what is competency-based education difference. So also we will be seeing the learning objectives and learning outcome. In today's education, what we need for the students is what are the learning objectives and what are learning assignments or learning outcomes out of it, and how to use it for the students. Then characteristics and advantages of competency-based education, as well as suggested pedagogical planning, that is the pedagogical process, how to implement all these things, that is suggested pedagogies, and some assessment rubrics also we are going to discuss. So this will be the learning outcomes of today's training session. When we will proceed slowly, one by one, each and every point will be revealed and disclosed before you. So when we see, look at this picture on your screen, you will find that this picture, what you see on the left side, this is the traditional method of learning, that is the rote learning method, or that is the old method where there is only bookish, bookworm type of learning. Whereas on the right side of this, of our right side, you see that education goes on with the activities. Or education is a very happy and a two-way type of education is there. Activity-based education is there. Observation is there. Hands-on practice is there. Activity-based education is there. Observation is there. Everything. But on the left side, there is the emotional change on the face of the student. So this is the main difference on the traditional education and the competency-based education. Here, in total, today's method, what we see, there is only copy-paste type of education. Teacher writes on the board, writes in the notebook of the students copy it, write it on in the notebook, and this type of education is the traditional type of education, rote learning type of methodology, which is completely discarded from the educational field. And then right side you'll find Cba model, that is competency-based education model, where then education is centered on the students, focused on the competencies and based on the learning outcome. So very important is there is a learning outcome in this, whereas it is not a teacher centered but child centered type of education, and it will mainly focus on the mastery or competency. In short, we can call it as proficiency based learning. So here we will find that there is a proficiency in this type of teaching learning method, and here there is a kind of a positive type of outcome and output is seen in this type of methodology, where the learner is learning at his own pace. Then you'll find that the child is experiencing learning from it, and therefore you will find that the child is experiencing learning from it, and therefore you will find that in this particular type of situation or condition, here skills or products of the students are expected to learn, whereas measure or proficiency of students are expected to achieve in the skill, and this is nothing but the outcome. So here there is a combination of skills, knowledge, understanding, and products of the students are expected to learn, whereas measure or proficiency of students are expected to achieve in the skill, and this comes from the learner or the students. So this is the main thing. That's what we are going to learn today in this competency-based education type of teaching learning. Now, what we are going to see is what are exactly what are competencies. So we will see what are competencies. So competencies are nothing but the capabilities of performing a task, doing a kind of activity, doing a kind of job, and how effectively and successfully you do it. That is called as competency. So you have to show the competencies by effectively and successfully doing a task assigned to you. And It is useful in the educational, professional, or real life context. By using, what we have to use here is, that is, we have to use the skills, we have to use knowledge, and we have to use our abilities. So combination of the skills, knowledge, and abilities, a positive product, a productive activity which is conducted, is called as the competency, and that is what required in the 21st century learning. So also it is a combination of knowledge and abilities that is equal to competencies. Usually the teacher should know exactly what competencies mean. It is nothing but the knowledge and abilities together that forms the competencies. So competencies are referred as the how component of doing a task. If the child is asked to do some task, if the child is given some kind of job, some kind of assignment, then in this particular thing, then how the kind of work, how the kind of task is done by that particular learner, it shows the competencies, whether the competencies are learned, earned by the child or learner or not. And how does the student perform the given task? What your task, what your assignment, what your work is given to the child or a student, how the child performs, that shows the competency. So this is the assessment rubric, whether the child has learned the competencies or not. So what are exactly the competencies? Competencies are the overall objectives. These are the objective for a course. Course means a subject, topic, or a unit what is taught by the teacher. So these competencies are the kind of objectives for that particular subject or topic. Competencies are bigger and general goals than the learning objective. So learning objective are the objectives by the teachers expected from the students to be done. So competencies are bigger and learning objective is a small part. So all the learning objectives towards small objectives towards competencies, they move towards the competencies. So this is nothing but a kind of step for learning objective as a step for the competency based education. So this is nothing but a kind of step for learning methodology or competency based education. This is the kind of a step towards it. Okay. So am I audible? Is there a problem in some audio or something? Just reply, please. Hello. Am I audible? Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sonil, you are audible. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So we are going to see the difference between the two methods, that is traditional method and competency-based education method. What is the main difference? Till now, till today, we were going through the traditional method of learning, and now we are moving towards the paradigm of competency-based education. So here, students are advanced regardless of their whether they master a skill. Means in this traditional method, it was not seen whether the child has really earned a mastery, whether the child has really earned a proficiency, or simply moving from one grade to another grade, one class to another class, simply promoted. But in competency-based education, students advance after they master a skill. Only when mastery is there, mastery is earned by the child, by the learner, then only the child is moved to the next step. Whereas here, learning goals are centered around the student's age. So here we'll find the age is a main factor. In traditional method, age, after completing the certain age, the child will be promoted to the next class. So age is considered to be a main factor in the traditional method. Whereas if you move towards the competency-based education, here you will find that in competency-based education, learning goals are around the center, student center. So these are all student center type of goals which are achieved by the child. So this is the second main difference. Then some students receive support if they are above the grade level, means they are in different grades, 6th standard, 7th class, 8th class and all. So they will get support only if they are in a certain class. That is the main thing in this particular method, that is a traditional method of teaching learning. Whereas in competency based education, all students receive differentiated support because different students have different capabilities of teaching learning. They do not have same speed, same grasping power. Their power, grasping power, their ability to learn differs from child to child. So we have to mold it accordingly. Similarly, assessment is mostly summative, that is year-end type of assessment is done for this particular traditional method. Here, the assessment is embedded throughout and have many different ways for each and every student. So every student will have different methodologies of assessment, and these is throughout the year. Means after every unit, after every week, after every month, after every semester. whereas in traditional it is only year end or half term or first semester and second semester. This is another difference. Similarly, the learning objectives consist of memorization, comprehension of content. So memorization, just mugging, learning the content is the main objective in traditional method. Whereas in competency-based education, learning objective consists of deep understanding, thorough understanding, complete understanding, and not only understanding but application of this content in the real life or in the practical way. Similarly, performance is graded using test and score. In traditional method, only marks 80 out of 100, 90 out of 100, 95 out of 100 is considered. Whereas in competency-based education, performance is determined by the individual growth as well as mastery. Whether the child has really earned mastery or not, that is the main objective of competency-based education. Whereas in traditional, only marks out of 100, the child is getting 60, 70, 80 or 90. By what method? By rote method, by memorization, by just learning and mugging. That is the main thing. So this is the main difference. Now, acquiring competencies and proficiencies. How to acquire? How do the students acquire the competencies and proficiency? Competency-based learning refers to the system of instruction, that is teaching, assessment, that is assessment of the child, grading, that is giving the grades, and academic reporting that are based on students demonstrating that they have learned the skills. Whether the children have really learned the skills or not, that is mainly here. The second part is what? In the school, the competency-based learning or standard is determined by the competency or proficiency in the given course or area. Whether the child has really earned a competency or not, proficiency or not, that is the main important part. Now, competency-based, what is exactly the CBE? Competency-based education focus on the outcome. So, competency-based education is mainly the outcome-based learning. What is exactly the outcome after teaching that particular part, that particular topic, and accordingly earning the skill? Then CB addresses what the learners are expected to do rather than what they are expected to learn. Learning is not important. Doing it, practically using it, utilization, it, application is important, and not learning. Till now, in traditional method, only learning was considered to be important. But in competency-based education, after learning, what the child exactly does in the real life, what the child exactly make use of the learning in the real life, in the context to have a practical knowledge, that is a very important thing. So this also carries main important role. Similarly, competency-based education programs are alternative ways of learner to gain mastery and earn the expected skills. So gaining the skill, gaining the mastery is the main objective of competency-based education. Now, there are four golden rules of competency-based education. First is understanding the target objective. You have to understand that as a teacher, as a we can say facilitator, we have to understand the target objective. Next is by the students. Students demonstrate the mastery. After teaching the content, the teachers will see that the students are demonstrating the mastery of that particular content what is taught. Learn at your own pace. Children, the students will learn at their own place, as well as there are retakes when necessary. Whenever necessary, there is a retake. In that means repetition is there. We can say remedial measures are conducted so that the child will thoroughly understand the concept and gain mastery over it. So these are the four golden rules of competency-based education. Now we are going to see the main difference between learning objectives and learning outcomes. What are learning objectives and what are learning outcomes? So here you will find the first is learning objectives of a topic is a specific statement. So it is a specific statement, and where the teaching intention, it indicates the specific area that the teacher intends to cover. What is part of teaching unit here the teacher is going to teach? The teacher has to decide the objective. What are the objective? Why are we teaching this topic? What are the objective of teaching? What the child is expected to do after teaching this part? And then learning outcome. So learning outcome is also a statement. Both these are the statement. Is a statement of what the learner should know, child should know, child should understand, and able to demonstrate. Second, third part is very important. Able to demonstrate, that is mastery. Means that will be a proof that whether the child has really earned the mastery or not. Now, in learning objective, it gives information about what the teaching of the unit hoped. That is, the teacher is hoping. Means suppose I want to teach subtraction or multiplication or addition or division type of topic in maths, or in science, food chapter. So what the teacher is hoping the students are expected to learn, the students are expected to do after teaching this topic, and that is to achieve. Whereas the learning outcomes are able, what the child, what the learner is able to do, what the child is able to demonstrate, what the child is able to apply in the real life, that is called as outcome. So learning objectives which are framed by the teacher are the hopes from the students, whereas learning outcomes are ables the students are able to display or demonstrate. There are five types of learning outcomes. We are going to see what are the five types of learning outcomes. First learning outcome is intellectual skills. That is, the child or the learner is able to understand, whether the child is able to understand the concept, rules, or procedures. That is, this is displayed in the intellectual skill. So, whether the child has learned intellectual skills or competences or not, that is displayed from the concept, rules, and procedures the child shows or displays. Second, cognitive strategy. So there is a cognitive strategy. Learners uses the personal strategies to, the child will think, the child will organize, the child will learn, and the child will behave. So these are the cognitive strategy or cognitive type of outcomes. That is, the child will learn how to think, what to think, how, why to think, and the child will be able to organize the things, organize the matter material. Child learn and child will behave in a positive way. That is cognitive strategy. The third is the verbal information, means the child is able to define, or the child is able to state, define, tell, describe. That is the verbal information. The child should be able to tell about certain things, describe certain things, tell about the information about it, and that is called as the verbal information. The next is motor skill. That is the skills which are used by the hands or the body parts. That is physical ability to perform the action. That is also kind of outcome. After showing some activity by the teacher, whether the child is able to do, that is attitude. Now, what is attitude? Internal state that reflects the learner's behavior. That is positive change in the behavior of the learner is nothing but called as the attitude. So mainly there are five types of learning outcome. First is intellectual skill, second is the cognitive skill. In intellectual skill, the child will able to learn the concept, rules, and procedures, whatever is there in that unit, in that topic. Cognitive strategy, the learner will use the personal strategies to think, organize, and learn and behave. Similarly, verbal information, the child will able to tell some information, describe some information. Then is the motor, that is for the body part, that is maybe eyes, nose, hands, legs, some kind of outcome is shown from this. Then is attitude, that is internal state that reflects the learner's behavior. Then is attitude, that is positive change in the behavior. But up till now we have seen that this kind of outcomes should be there, this kind of objectives has to be there, this kind of competencies are to be earned or learned by the students or by the learner. But what are the ways in which we can get it done after teaching certain topics, maybe of science, maths, English, history, geography, whatever subject? After teaching that particular lesson or chapter, during that chapter, what are the pedagogies that the teacher has to use so that the child will get the mastery over that particular topic or particular unit? That we are going to see one by one. The learner is to be provided with the opportunities. What should be done by the teacher as a facilitator? They should make groups or pairs or even individually inclusive steps to encourage. What they should encourage? That is to explore the surrounding, natural process phenomena using, means all the activities which include seeing, touching, smelling, tasting, hearing. Means there is a work, there is a kind of job given to all the sense organs. All the sense organs are used to explore the surrounding, and this can be done in individual way, in a pair, or in a group, that is peer. So in this way, if you provide opportunities for the students to show whether they have earned a mastery or not using these activities, which could use the seeing, that is vision, then touching, that is hands and nervous system, then tasting with the tongue, smelling with the nose, and hearing with the ear. All these are used. Next is pose a question, frame a question, and find answer through reflection. When you are putting the question before the student, that there is a reflection in the form of answer from the student. This can be done by the teacher. All this can be used so that the child will able to display or 100 out of 100 is not at all the real outcome of teaching learning, is not at all a competency based education. So in competency based education, there is a very type of assessment process, teaching learning pedagogies used by the teacher and assessment done by the teacher. Next part of pedagogical processes, that is, you have to, as a teacher, we have to record the observation during the activity or experiments in science or in geography or in any subjects. Then the surveys, they have to make the surveys. The child should go for a field trip and note their observations, thinking skill, critical thinking, collaborative thinking, and leadership skills. All these skills will be seen among the students. Similarly, analyze the recorded data. That not collecting data is only not important, but analyzing the data is also equally important, and it should be interpreted in the form of results and conferences. Then the teacher has to make the generalization and share the findings. Whatever outputs are there, whatever findings, that is results are there, these results should be shared with the peer, that is the students, and the adults, that is their parents and other caretakers. They should also come to know about what are the deficiencies, what are the problems, what are the positive things, what are the negative things about the learner. Next is exhibit the creativity, presenting novel ideas. The child or the learner should present the positive or novel ideas, that is designing or pattern improvisation. All this has to be displayed by the student. That will only show that whether the learning has really taken place or not. So these are various types of ways and methods where it can be brought into use, or whether it can be implemented by the students, by the teacher for the student. Next is the next part, that is internalize, acquire, and appreciate values such as cooperation. Only teaching in the class is not important. There should be a socialization of the child. So in socialization, the teacher will observe whether the child has learned cooperation, collaboration with the student, honestly reporting, judicious use of natural resources like electricity, water, or any other type of resource, whether the child is really using all these natural resources in a very justified way, in a very proper way. Saving all this is important. That is one of the way of learning. Next, suggestive assessment practices to gauge achievement of learning objectives or learning outcomes, we can say. So here you'll find that it can be integrated. So this the type of assessment, it can be increment, that is integrated, but assessment should not be in such a way that getting out of 100 80 marks or 70 marks or 90 marks should not be the objective, but assessment should be for learning and assessment as a learning. Child should not have a fear of the examination, of assessment. It should go in a very friendly way, it should go in a very normal and casual way. Even the child should not feel that they are already assessed by the teacher. Otherwise, if you tell the student that it is a 100 marks paper, tomorrow you come prepared, write the examination, and let's see how much marks do we get, the child has got a stress. How to study this chapter? I will have to learn it by heart, then write it in paper, in between if I forget, all these possibilities. So in competency based education, not to look at the marks or scores or grades, but the abilities, the skills, the competencies earned by the child. Next, assessment must be, how must be the assessment? It must be authentic. It requires application of knowledge and skill to the real world. Teaching in class is not the ultimate objective of a teacher, but whatever is taught in the class, that thing should be used by the child in the real life, connected to the real world, and that is the real teaching methodology, that is called as competency based education. Otherwise, in the traditional education, teacher used to come, write on the board, finish up the topic and go. What are the application? How to apply this in the real life? Child was not able to understand, child was not able to gain it. Similarly, the child should be able to make the decisions. That is, decision making is also very important and core part to determine the optimum use of knowledge. By using their knowledge, by using the skill, the child should be able to handle a situation. Child should be able to handle a situation. That is the most important part. So here you will find that this is equally important part of teaching and learning. Not only scoring the mark. Be reliable. How should be the source that is reliable, valid, and based on the critical and creative thinking? That is, these are the 21st century skills that are to be checked and that are to be observed by the teacher, that whether really this kind of thing goes on or not. Next part of the suggestive assessment practices to gauge the achievements of learning objectives, whether really the learning objectives are achieved or not. This can be tested, assess ability to integrate. The child should be able to integrate the knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Only then we can see that the real teaching learning has taken place. So, integration of knowledge, skills, and ability by the facilitator or the teacher plays very important role. Next, a balance between for, as, and of learning means, I told you earlier also, that is assessment for learning, assessment as a learning, and assessment of learning should be the main important view. That is main core part, and that should be used. That is a stressful, in a stressful way. The children usually give the exam, but this should be a stressless or without any kind of stress, and the student should happily give the assessment. That is important. Now, how to achieve this, or how to check whether learning objectives, skills, and competencies are achieved or not? The child should be assessed in the form of multiple methods, that is portfolios, that is presentations, group objects, that is open-ended questions, multiple choice questions, short answers, long answers, problem solving, reflective assessment, and involving measurement of capacity to analyze and evaluate the experiences. That is the creative thinking and critical thinking again. This plays very important role in the life of the students. Therefore, all the assessment can take place by varied way. That is a different ways, not by the traditional method, but by means of the very type of use of multiple methods of assessment, and which are not having any kind of burden or stress on the learner or the student. Rubric must be shared with the student prior to the test. Before the examination, before the assessment, what exactly you are going to do should be elaborated, expressed, and shared with the peer or the student as well as their parents or the stakeholders. Then it must include specific and measurable learning objectives. As a teacher, when you are setting the learning objectives of the lesson plan, in the lesson plan, it has to be specific and measurable, not very wide, not very vast, or beyond the approach of the students or the teachers. It should be small, that is brief enough, and it should be in that is hand of the students where it can achieve or it can get. Now, why are we doing this all? Competency based education or learning objectives, learning outcomes, and assessment objective. That is, through this, holistic development of the child should take place. The ultimate goal is the 21st century skill, as well as the child should get a competency based education. Teachers should be able to frame the learning objectives, and the students should show the learning outcomes after finishing or completing that particular unit, topic, or that subject. So the development of intellectual, mental, physical, and emotional, as well as social abilities in a child, so that the child is capable of facing the demands and challenges of everyday life. Means all these things is not only to write in the paper, but the child should be able to bring it in practice in the real life. Child should use all these skills, the competencies in the real life situation. Connect it with the real life situation is very important. And therefore, it includes mainly the mental development, intellectual development, physical, emotional, social abilities, etc. And these abilities are vitally important for successful professional and real life. Usually nowadays the children are found to be under stress. They are more stressed in the education. Therefore, there is a large number of what we say dropouts from the schools. And due to this, what happens is the child will not able to get quality education. Child will not able to gain the mastery, the skills, and only they will get a degree certificate which they are going to show here and there, but not getting the job. Because in today's world, job is given only to the very effective, innovative, and creative children. So if they gain the mastery, gain the competency, then only they can run in the race of the today's world. So all these things are told in the strict way that they should able to get mastery over that particular topic or that particular area, specified area. This is very important. Now, in the 21st century education, the education should include experiential learning. It should be having competency based teaching learning. Teacher should able to frame the learning objective. Child should able to display the learning outcome. The teacher should use the varied type of pedagogy. There should be sport integration in teaching learning. There should be storytelling. There should be art integration. Child should be taught the 21st century skills. Similarly, competency based learning and assessment, holistic education or holistic approach, interdisciplinary learning is also one part, and multiple intelligence and multiple type of skills. So all these things are included in today's education. This is a full-fledged type of education. All-round development can take place only through this. So this is all mentioned in all the countries in the 21st century education. The child should gain the mastery, and the teacher and the facilitator, we have to do all these things. And this is the main components of today's teaching learning. 21st century education. The teacher and the facilitator has to use all these competencies, skills of that particular area or that particular point. So in this, we will understand that these are the main components of today's teaching learning, 21st century skills, as well as there is intervention of all these topics. Not only in the traditional, we will find that not only teaching learning will go, but only in a very unidirectional way it was going on, not thinking of the student, whether they have earned mastery, whether they have really earned the skills, or the teacher has to proceed to the next class or next standard and next topic, and then the child remains incompetent. And that was the main drawback. So there is a dropout from the various rural area school because there are no competencies, or there is a still traditional type of rote learning type of methodology which is practiced. So as a teacher, as a facilitator, we have to do all these things, and this is thought to be very important. So thank you very much for giving me the chance to speak here. I thank IGP, the team of IGP, all these hosts who are here are very effective and very cooperative one. I really thank you both, the host present over here, and it's my pleasure to be here in on the IGP platform, and it was a great experience. And I thank all of you, team IGP, and expecting more and more from IGP. Such type of useful sessions should be conducted, and that will enrich the teachers and ultimately the students. Thank you very much once again.
Okay, that was an amazing sharing, Mr. Sonia. Your marvelous presentation and giving us your valuable time is really unmeasurable. And I believe our audience today is so blessed by your shared intangible knowledge. And probably some of them will adopt this technique in your strategies and teaching. While I am listening to you, Mr. Sonia, I am thinking about the theory of Jean Dewey, learning by doing. Okay, I believe
Very
it's
correct.
anchored. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is competency-based education that you are sharing with us is anchored with the John Dewey learning by doing, and also I remember the project-based learning. Okay,
Yeah.
I love the way you talk that as a teacher, why I am teaching, what is the purpose of the teaching. Okay, we are
Yes.
not just teaching and just for the sake to finish the whole book and all the competencies that we are need to address to the learners, that we must think what would be the purpose of this lesson. I love this lesson, Mr. Sonia. What would be the what would be the purpose, what would be the purpose of this lesson? And I have here a list, okay, that I really love the sharing. No, I have the outcome-based learning. In this 21st century, we really must teach our children or our learners to think critically, to have a project after the lesson to apply this three that you have mentioned. They apply the skills, the knowledge, and the abilities. Okay, how we could apply this one, of course, with the help, with the help of the teachers and educators, as we are the facilitator of learning. I really love the topic, Mr. Shonil. Thank you so much. Okay, so before we are going to have our quiz, okay, we're going back for you, Mr. Soma, later for the question and answer. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so, okay. So before we are going to have our quiz, I just like to thank gratitude to our teachers today in our session, Mr. Alex, Mr. Sir Libiran, Mr. Dante. Thank you, sir. Miss Christine. Thank you, ma'am. Joseph, Nico, Sir Nico. We do have a lot of teachers here in our session. Miss Rose, Alex. We do have Ma'am Joy. Thank you for having here, and Ma'am Carmela. We do. I have here from the Southern Philippines. Thank you, Ma'am, for joining us today. We do have Ma'am Janeline, Sir Dante. Thank you, Sir. Miss Sherry Yamaguchi. Thank you, ma'am. Miss Gloria, Miss Danica. Thank you for your time for us today. What else that we have here? Thank you, Myra, Anna Marie, Lolita, Gloria, Stephanie. And we do have Sonam, Janelle, and more. Thank you guys for your time. And I just want to say we do have Mr. Gapur Panimbang for very active participants in our probably most of our session in IGP. Mr. Gapur Panimbang, you're gonna earn a lifetime membership certificate for for you. The IGB would gonna issue you a lifetime member certificate. Thank you, sir, for having us all the time. Okay, I think we do have our quiz now. Are you ready, teachers, learners, for today? Do not forget to have the www.slido.com, our code, quiz IGP, and the link and the comment box that we have. Okay, I believe while waiting, okay, here we go. Okay, we do have our participants. Thank you for joining. Sherilyn, Ma'am Sherilyn, Rosie, Mary Joy, Carmela, Alan, Michael, Leah, Mylene, Gaias. Hello, thank you for joining Miss Mylene Gaias. Miss Mylene Gaias is my classmate when we was in elementary. Thank you, Miss Mylene. Rochelle, Kirill, Abeth, Michelle, Rosie, Napoleon, Marlita, Michelle, Dex. Thank you for joining, Sir Dex. Ma'am Abeth. Thank you, Ma'am Abeth. Dante, Marlita, Sir Ricky, Kirill, Camille, Edreline, Gloria, Rosal, Jacqueline, Rochelle, Ruby Ann. Thank you for joining. Okay, so I think we need to have a countdown before we're going to start with our quiz. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I believe you are ready. Okay. So we have now our quiz number 1. Okay, we're gonna have 20 seconds. Teachers should bear in mind that The outcome of teaching is learning. It is a clarity of focus or it is high expectations. Choose your answer now, teachers. Five, four, three, two, and one. Okay, congratulations to 90% of our member in our here. The correct answer for number one is clarity of focus. Congratulations, teachers. Okay, so can I have our leaderboard for this quiz? So we do have our top one, Mr. Sonia, second by Melinda, third by Sherilyn, Rosie, and Emily. Congratulations. Next, our second question, please. Okay, cognitive linguocultural methodology organizes the learning process on the basement of language personality formation, intercultural communicative competency formation. Okay, five, four, three, two, and one. Okay, what is the correct answer? Show it. Okay, congratulations to our 75% intercultural communicative competence formation. Congratulations. So we'll see our leaderboard. Who will be on top? Okay, congratulations, Sir Nico. And followed by Asha. Thank you. Next, our third please. Okay, keep it coming, teachers. Okay, what is outcome-based education? It's a student-centric teaching and learning methodology, or it is a competency upon completion of a lesson. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, what would be the correct answer? Congratulations to our 72 rather percent. The correct answer is it is a student-centric teaching and learning methodology. Congratulations. We will see in a leaderboard who will be on top. Asha, congratulations, sir. Mr. Jack, Ma'am Cheryl, Miro, and Rosie. Congratulations. Next, for our next question, competency-based learning focused on curriculum or the student's demonstration of desired learning outcomes. Okay, competency-based learning focused on curriculum or the student's demonstration of desired learning outcomes. What would be the correct answer? Okay, congratulations to our 85% participants. The correct answer is the student's demonstration of desired learning outcomes. Congratulations. Who would be our leading on our board? Okay, still Mr. Ashok, then Mr. Jacques, Cheryl Anir, and Napoleon. Congratulations, sir. Next, for our next question. Okay, competency-based language teaching approach had been widely adopted by the end of 1970s or in 2010. What will be your answer? 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So show the correct answers. Okay, congratulations to our 71% participant. No, sorry, 21%, 29% participants. The correct or last, probably. Okay, we still have another. Okay, so the first in our leaderboard, we do have Mr. Jack, Gloria, welcome in our leaderboard, Ma'am Gloria, Emily, Miro, and Jigny. Congratulations. Next question, please. Okay, which one is not the type of learning or it is formal cooperative learning? Okay, which one is not the type of cooperative learning? Five, four, three, two, and one. Okay, what will be the correct answer? Okay, 79% participants. Congratulations, the correct answer is learner autonomy. Okay, we will see in our leaderboard who will be the leading educators. We will have still Mr. Jack on top. Congratulations, sir. Emily, welcome to the leading board. Emily, Mira, Nico, Sir Nico, and Mom Gloria. Thank you. Next, be ready on our next question. Okay, at the beginning of the curriculum design, the learning outcomes has to be clearly defined. It is designing backward or it is high expectations. Okay, seven, six, five, four, three, two, and one. What will be the correct answer? Show it. Okay, congratulations to the 65% participants said designing backwards. Okay, congratulations. Who will be our leading part for this time? Congrats, still congratulations, Mr. Jock. Followed by Emily, Mary Gloria, and Sir Ed. Welcome to the leading board, Mr. Ed. Congratulations. Next, for our next question. Okay, changes in higher education system of Kazakhstan after joining the Bologna process do not involve first, a cognitive lingua cultural methodology or an adoption of the three-tier system of education, bachelor, master, and doctorate. Okay, what will be the correct answer? So we do have 45% participants answered cognitive lingua cultural methodology. Thank you so much and congratulations. Okay, we will see in our leaderboard who will be leading this time. Still, oh, we do have new leading in our leaderboard. Congratulations, Ma'am Emily. Followed by Jack Miro. Welcome to the leading board, Queen Diana and Rosal. Okay, next for the following question. Congratulations, teacher. Okay, teaching and learning combined to make curriculum or syllabus. Okay, teaching and learning combined. If we combine teaching and learning, we're gonna have a curriculum or a syllabus. Okay, four, three, two, and one. What would be the correct answer? Okay, 88% of our participants answered curriculum. Congratulations. We will see who would be the leading in our leaderboard. Okay, still on top, we have Mom Emily, followed by Jack, Mary Rosal, and Mom Gloria. Thank you for joining. Okay, next question, please. Okay, it uses the hands-on minds and heart on teaching methodology. Hands, mind, and heart. Progressivists or essentialists? Progressivists or essentialists? What would be the correct answer? Show our answer, please. Okay, 75% our participants said progressivist. Congratulations. Okay, and we see our leading board. Who will be the leading this time? Okay, we still in the leading top one, Mom Emily, followed by Jack, Gloria, man. Welcome to the leading board, ma'am. And Mom Abeth. Mom Abeth, thank you so much for having us today as a active participant. Okay, next. Okay, I think we have done already. Okay, we are going to have the top 10 winners' name. Okay, we will show the top 10 winners. We do have Ma'am Emily. Okay, we do have Ma'am Emily, Mr. Jack, Gloria, Ma'am Abeth de la Cruz, and Ma'am Carmela, Mr. Napoleon, Miro, Rose, And what will be the last one? Who will be the last one? And Mr. Alex. Congratulations, teachers, for joining us today for our quiz. And rest assured that you are going to have the certificate for quiz completion from IGP with ISO certificate and code. Okay, so I think we need to go back to our speaker for today. And if there would be questions for the talk, for the content of our speaker, you're gonna have. I play it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, but first we're gonna have first the video. Okay, hold on. We will see after the video. We can. Okay, we still have first the video. Then we will come back to our speaker. Okay, go ahead, ma'am Nazreen. Okay, welcome back, Mr. Sonil Bakre. Okay, teachers, participants, you're going to have, if you have questions in mind, you're gonna type in our comment box and we will read, we will accommodate your questions. So Mr. Sonil will also accommodate it and answer your questions too. I will read in your behalf and we will let Mr. Sonil Bakre to answer your question. Okay, can we see if you do have, or please type on our comment box, address the name and your questions. Mr. Sonner, are you okay now? Are you still good?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Please go ahead. Please go
You're
ahead.
okay. You're still okay. That will be great. Okay, so we will see if we do have questions from our comment box below. We will see. Um, we'll check if they have questions, sir, for you. Please, teachers, have your comment, have your questions in our comment box. I will read your questions, so we will let Mr. Sonia to answer your questions. Okay, we have here from Sir Ray Libiran, Mr. Mr. Sonil Bakure. Good day, sir. What activities can you recommend in senior high school student progressivism? I repeat, sir.
Mhm.
What activities can you recommend in senior high school student progressivism? Go ahead,
In
sir.
senior high school student, yeah, in senior high school student, they are competitive enough to understand the concepts and go for the activities. So various type of activities can be conducted, especially with the available resources, with the available type of space available for you, and this should be higher order thinking type of questions. So in this you can include like there should be creativity, there should be innovation, and there should be collaboration and cooperation type of activities. So in this age, actually the students, this is adolescence age, and during the higher education, the senior student school, they should have more and more adventurous type of activities, or we can say because of adolescence, they have more capabilities and more strength. So higher order type of questions can be asked to them, or higher order type of activities can be proposed for them, so that they will able to have some kind of creativity, innovation, and the same could be utilized in their real life connect. So real life connect is very important part, because in this age these students become more independent. And at this age, if they are having such type of activities where there is a progress, where there is a advancement in their knowledge, skills and other things, then it will be very good and very useful for them, so that such activities should be designed, and some methodology has to be catered by the teacher. So it depends on the teacher's creativity.
Okay, I agree with that, Mr. Nolan. When catering senior high school, myself also teaching in senior high school, and I agree with you that we really use teaching strategy that tickle their mind. Use HOTS, and the act of questioning that you are also that higher order thinking skills, and also the art of questionings. Because senior high school student teachers are really into adulthood. There are a lot of things going on in their mind. Love, school, okay? It is a transition from a teen to an adulthood. Okay, I believe Mr. Sonia could answer your question, Mr. Sir Rail Ribira. Thank you so much. And we do have, sir, our second question. What is the aim of competency-based teaching, learning, and assessment? Go ahead, sir.
Very good question. I was expecting the same question. I really thank the one who has Jackson for asking the question. In the 21st century, we are moving the shifting our paradigm from the rote learning, traditional learning, to the competency-based education. It was found that in the rote learning method, in the traditional learning method, it was a unidirectional, that is teacher-centered methodology. Whereas competency-based education is the child-centered education, where the child has a scope for the mastery in learning. Getting the proficiency and mastery, these are the two things, main important aspects of competency based education, and which are very necessary. And assessment of this competency based teaching learning is very important, because the teacher should, that is not teacher but you can say facilitator. The facilitator has to understand whether the child or the learner has earned the competencies, proficiencies or not. If not, then there are some remedial measures, then there are some remedial methodologies that has to be used by the teacher for and helping the child to gain the competency. So in competency based education, the child will learn at his own pace. That is the first thing. And third is, it is a concrete learning and two-way type of process. So in every school of the world today is in need of competency based education rather than the traditional based education.
Okay, I believe that's when I agree with you too, that one, Mr. Sonel, that we really have that this kind of the competency-based teaching, learning, and assessment is really important, especially in this 21st century learning. And this strategy that you are sharing with us really target individuality, okay, because we engage on different learners that we have. We have diverse learner came from different background. Agree with that, Mr. Sonel? Okay, so
Hello.
if we are going to yes, sir. Okay, if we are going to apply this competency-based teaching and learning, we really promote individuality, and we value the differences of every learners. Thank you for that, Mr. Sonin. So we'll see if we still have another questions in our comment box. Okay, thank you, Ma'am Teresa, for having us watching from SDO Iloilo. Thank you po. After share, I think, okay, still have okay. We don't have more questions from our participants. Okay, once again, Mr. Solon, thank you so much for having us here and sharing your ideas, your strategies with us. And I believe our educators today listening to us really apply your talk, really apply the content, really apply the strategies that you shared to us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you, IGP, and both of you, the
I do hope we will see you soon again.
thank you very much. Thank you once again. Thank you all the
Okay.
participants for the active participation. and the toppers and for top 10 of the competition, that is quiz competition. Thank you and congratulations from my side.
Okay, so before we end, I want you to congratulate teachers who participate in our quiz competition, and rest assured that quiz certificate will be given to you right after our session. Okay, today's certificate process instruction, we do have instructions. The code is IGP28216. Okay, please do not forget our code. With code, you can claim your certificates anytime. Okay, and please do not forget to share, comment, and tag your teachers or colleagues, because this platform really a sharing of knowledge and how our other teachers around the world share with us for free. Share with us for free their best practices in their classroom. And this topic for today is really good. Could really apply in our classroom, in our 21st century classroom. Okay, and for that, dear knowledge seeker, I would love to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for attending this today's session. Optimistically, we have learned something new, I believe, and we will implement this one in our life as an educator and as a classroom teacher and as a facilitator. And also, it is also beneficial in our career growth. And don't forget, please, to collect your A certificate and obviously give us a check in IGP and spread the information with your friends and your colleagues. We hope to see you all again in the next webinar. I am your host again, Teacher Nordy, signing off. Bye. Peace.